I would challenge all of us, right? As we look at this change, and there's new programs, new policies, new ways of doing business. Let's look at this as a great opportunity. Embrace it, right? Let's not stop moving forward and say, oh, budget crisis, we can't do anything, right? Let's get innovative in our approaches. Industry, we need you to get innovative with us so that we can continue to move forward. It's too critical that we keep these projects and initiatives moving forward, and we partner with our businesses, and we continue to serve our residents in the best way possible. So at the state, we are very focused on continuing to move forward with our strategic plan, customer experience, with our resident portal, identity and access management, huge data gap that we're trying to fill, and with enterprise data program, innovation, including AI, looking at our workforce, and how we can continue to hire the best and retain the best, and then digital trust with their security and privacy, equity, governance, and service excellence. So those are our staples that we're going to continue to move forward with, despite constraints that are in front of us. And as leaders, I think that's our job. So change will happen, but strategic focus doesn't have to change. And I hope we can all stay committed to moving forward. And it's forums like this that will help us do that.
Why is state and local government collaboration important from your perspective? And we'll start with you, Zach.
I'm Zach Hudgens. I'm a privacy manager for our Office of Privacy and Data Protection at WATEC, the state's IT agency. I do a lot with local governments through privacy, but overlap with cybersecurity because they're overlapping disciplines. And I think that this is one of the more exciting and interesting spaces in IT right now is this collaboration. We saw this a few years ago when folks got fed up with the federal government and they said the states have become the laboratory for policy. And I think we're seeing that sort of next iteration of that, of the states working with local governments to help them through their challenges, makes the state better at what we do.
Yeah, some of the things that I found to be really important over the years in terms of collaboration, just the potential actually time savings. We're all so busy in our jobs, yet we're facing, as you referred to, Bill, a lot of the same issues, same constituents. We all have crime maps. We all have CIP, reporting. We're all doing a lot of similar things. Why are we not sharing those more and saving each other really so much time?
Actually, my job is all about collaboration. And one of the things that is definitely true about geographic information and why this is so interesting to me is that we collaborate with local governments, with federal government, with other state agencies, because actually data is very expensive to create. We all want authoritative data to be able to make decisions. And so it's really important to coordinate on that so that the resident experience, so that as we're making decisions for the public, for our residents and the state, that we're using the same similar information and can be able to provide that consistency of information, that authoritative data. And that requires us to share across all levels of government.
Speaking of that kind of collaboration, one of the initial initiatives that Bellevue is embarking on right now is building a data analytics program from the ground up. So I'm lucky enough to be part of the organization where we're really building this from the ground up. It didn't grow organically on its own. So and we're thoughtful in this approach because it's a mention of AI. Guess what the foundation of AI is? Data, correct data, right data. Because if you have bad data, you have bad AI all across the board.
Irene, how will Washington's enterprise data strategy support both the protection and the proactive use of data to benefit the public?
For that session, Joanne, who is our Geographic Information Officer, said that data is expensive to collect. So why aren't we sharing the data so that we don't incur the costs of collecting the data over and over again? And I think that's very true. I mean, we are stewards of the data in the state. We do have that responsibility. I do also want to expand that beyond just thinking about the expenses financially speaking, because obviously, if you're collecting data on streams and water quality and all that, it requires a lot of FTEs and, finances and all that. That's true too. But I also want to talk about how expensive it is to collect data from our residents, expensive and taxing emotionally for our residents too. So you do hear about how we have many programs in the state that help our residents, including at local governments and state governments. A lot of us collect the same data over and over again from our residents. And this can be very emotionally taxing, just even for all of us. I mean, think about the times when you kind of want to just autofill all the forms that you have to fill out, because how annoying it is to have to fill out those same information over and over again. Now multiply that emotional tax with these residents who have to tell their emotional stories and sometimes traumas over and over again when they're looking to get benefits or enroll in a certain program. And I think this is one of those expenses that maybe we don't really think about when we think about how important data sharing is. This is an opportunity for us and a responsibility, I would say, for us to be able to use the data for good, also to minimize the emotional burden and the tax that we have on our residents.
I don't know when we all became data pack rats, but we really have a lot of data. I think, and we speak about using it, sharing it. We've collected it under different terms and conditions and consent, under different transactional reasons. So some of the challenges that we have is what to do with that much information. At one point, we said we had a petabyte of data, and we kind of did the calculation. These are fun to do. 20 million 4-drawer tall cabinets, if you were to do all that data in paper. Well, that was a long time ago. We probably have 3 or 4 petabytes of data, maybe just in one organization. We have 42 different departments all collecting it. So it's an enormous amount of information. And the security side, I won't be able to address. I'm not a security person, but just keeping that much information managed in terms of retention schedules that are required, making sure we have data sharing down right, that we've classified this stuff appropriately, we know what should go out and what shouldn't, is really one of our biggest challenges.
So how can AI be used for the greater good and some of these improvements and benefits that we're looking for?
So we know that the population of the world is over 7 billion people right now. We know that by 2050, we will be over 9 billion people. And the world's ability to be able to continue to feed itself based on the way that we're producing food right now will not exist. So through global warming, we're seeing the conditional erosion of aeratable land. Our farmers are facing crises in skilled labor and the cost of equipment and the cost of gas. We're seeing all of these things impact the way that we're going to be able to feed the world. So how are we going to do it? What's the hypothesis? The hypothesis is, how do we take proteins that we are growing today and make more out of them? How do we make less with more? How do we make greater yields? How do we drive out chemicals and things that we put into our food that will allow us to get more nutrients out of less? So what do? We look to autonomous farming. We look for the ability to be able to take data and do regenoming and phenotyping of plant-based seeds so that we can get a better yielding crop. These are the questions that can be answered utilizing AI and utilizing data.